Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Ask Dr. Nick. I'm Dr. Nick Schmilkoffer, and I work for the Neurologic Wellness Institute here in downtown Chicago. And on today's episode, we are going to talk about what is intermittent fasting. Well, intermittent fasting is this broad term for this way of lifestyle, this way of eating that can be beneficial for many conditions. From weight loss to neurological health to many other chronic diseases, from insulin resistance and diabetes and metabolic syndrome, so forth. And so intermittent fasting on a basic scale is basically fasting for at least 12 hours a day. It could be more, it could be 14, 16, 18 hours, or it could even be the whole day. And then following it up with an eating period. And so this is also called time-restricted feeding. So intermittent fasting can also be referred to as time-restricted feeding, in which that you're basically only feeding or eating in this one little window. And then after that, you're also then going to fast outside that window. And so the point of intermittent fasting is to play with our balances in our body when it comes to our metabolism. And so with our metabolism, we have two basic parts. We have an anabolic portion. An anabolic portion is going to be good for growth and repair in order to build muscle, store fat, build more connections in the brain for development. It helps kids grow. Maintain muscle mass and bone. And then we have a catabolic. So that was anabolic. We have a catabolic portion. The catabolic portion is more of using that energy, improving on fat mobilization. So rather than fat storage, we have fat mobilization. We're now using that fat for energy. We are no longer building muscle, but we're just maintaining it. We're maintaining bone, and we're improving on our getting rid of like cellular waste and energy, and it being more efficient in this portion. So we have this anabolic metabolism and we have this catabolic metabolism. Well, intermittent fasting allows for both to happen every day or every week. And so when we fast, we get more of this catabolic process. When we eat, we get more of this anabolic process. And so this fluctuation that occurs, we want this normal fluctuation for normal health. And so, like I said, there's many different forms that can occur. And how we turn on this anabolic or catabolic portion is all through changes in gene expression. So how our proteins are made in our cells, and then how our what hormones are released, what's occurring in our blood, and it all comes back to feeding. And if we eat, we're going to get more of this anabolic window. If we fast, we're going to get more of this catabolic window. And so today we're going to talk just about two different papers that I'd really like to share. And both of them are going to be on intermittent fasting. And the first one is called Flipping the Metabolic Switch by, it was in 2018, this paper is from. And it's out of the Journal of Obesity, but this is talking more about just intermittent fasting for weight loss. And so I really want to emphasize this. This isn't just for weight loss. This can be a way of life and a way that we can improve our health. So flipping the metabolic switch is kind of flipping that turntable from that anabolic to that catabolic and back and forth. And so right away with this paper, I just want to go to its graphics because it has some great pictures. And so we'll come down here, and this is what I was kind of talking about with what happens inside the brain, inside the blood, inside the liver cell, inside the fat cell or the muscle cell. So maybe I'll just make this one a little bit smaller. Sorry about that. So we have a liver cell, a fat cell, a muscle cell, an astrocyte, which is kind of supporting the brain, and then a neuron, which is a brain cell. And here's the blood. And basically what happens is when we go to more of a anabolic state, over here, that growing state, we have more glucose in the blood. And that glucose is going to supply energy to the muscle cell, the fat cell, and to the neuron, okay? But this is showing more of that catabolic state, when we flip that switch and don't eat. And what happens is we stop using glucose for energy. There's still glucose in the blood because red blood cells need it. But besides that, what happens is our liver cells start producing these ketone bodies. And so ketone bodies are an alternate fuel source for our body and especially the brain. And so that's beta hydroxybutyrate and acetoacetate. Both of these right here are ketone bodies that can go into the brain and therefore go through these processes to make energy. At the same time, these ketone bodies also help produce synaptic plasticity or neuroplasticity. It helps enhance performance, helps prevent, against disease, okay? At the same time, down here, beta hydroxybutyrate can also be supplied to the muscle cell, which again can make energy for sustained performance, cellular growth during this recovery. This is just a more efficient fuel source that happens, okay? So this is just the basic of when we fast, we get ketone bodies. This is that turning that metabolic switch over, okay? So I just wanted to start there. Now, if we go to the picture below, this is another really good one. And so the first graph up here is what happens in a typical American eating pattern, okay? We eat 3 meals a day, and that's depicted by the arrows, and maybe with a snack at night. So 1, 2, 3, snack at night. And on each of these meals that we eat, we get these glucose spikes. So every time the glucose is going to spike up from low to high, and then it takes a little bit to come down, and then we get hungry again, spike up at lunch, then we get hungry again at dinner, it spikes up, and maybe have a little dessert, okay? And then we sleep, and basically our glucose goes back to normal. In this typical American eating pattern, we do not have elevation of ketone bodies at all. So we never get this metabolic switch from anabolic to catabolic. We never get any switch there. And so by not having ketone bodies in our blood, we don't get any of the health benefits of the ketone bodies. And so we never actually get to the point where we can run on fat and ketones for fuel. And so here in this next one, here's one way that we can intermittent fast. This is a 5-2 or alternate day fast. And so a 5-2 would be that you eat normal for 5 days and then you fast for 2. Or it could be that you just fast 2 days during the week. So basically a 24-hour fast, you completely fast for 2 days during the week and then eat normal on the other days, okay? An alternate day fast would be that you fast for a whole day and then you eat whatever you want for a whole day. Fast for a whole day, eat whatever you want again for the whole day. And so on this switch flipped every several, we get this flip in the switch every several days, okay? And so here in the beginning, we're fasting, we're not eating. And so our ketones stay low, our glucose stays low, but then eventually our body needs energy. So ketone bodies start to increase to the point where, after 24 hours, now actually a little more than 24 hours, we eat breakfast. And then we eat lunch and we eat dinner. And when we eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, our ketones now drop, and therefore we're not using that. So this right here is where we get that metabolic switch when these ketones started to rise. And then glucose, when glucose comes in, ketones drop because we no longer need those ketones. So here we have that catabolic process going of cellular repair, being more efficient, cleaning out debris in cells. And then here we have the anabolic process of building up strength and growing new cells. Now, the other form we could do is flipping the switch where we do 18 hours of fasting every day. And this 18 hours, it could be, 14 hours, it could be 16 hours, it could be 18 hours. I think 15 hours, in my opinion, is the best window. Some people feel really good on 18. Some people can just do well enough on 12 to 14. And so but I think 15 is a very good way we could do it. So here on 18, we get this elevation of ketone bodies during this catabolic portion, and then we eat 3 meals in a 6-hour period where we get these glucose spikes, and then we stop eating, and then here we get this catabolic portion again, where we don't eat through the night, and then we don't eat through the morning, and then we start eating again at 1 o'clock, and you get again that we just have these cycles of this catabolic to anabolic, catabolic to anabolic. And so by flipping this switch back and forth, it can really improve and make good health benefits, give us good health benefits, which are right here. So in the brain, we have, it has been shown to help improve cognition, neurotrophic factor production, basically to help with synaptic plasticity, which is right here. Mitochondria, those are the powerhouses of the cell to make energy, and help with resistance to injury and disease. We also have cardiovascular benefits like decreasing blood pressure and resting heart rate, helping increase the parasympathetic tone, which is basically the rest and digest part of our nervous system. In fat cells, we get breakdown of fat, we get decreased inflammation. In muscle cells, we have improved insulin sensitivity, we have improved efficiency and endurance with intermittent fasting, decreasing inflammation again. In our intestines, again, more decreased inflammation. All that is because ketones are such a good benefit for decreased inflammation, along with prevention of eating glucose, which can cause more inflammation. In the liver, we get that ketone body production. We get more increase in insulin sensitivity. And the blood, again, the elevated ketone levels, super important. Decreased inflammatory cytokines, decreased markers of oxidative stress. So we don't need as many antioxidants because ketones are helping provide that function as well. So these are just a lot of benefits of intermittent fasting, okay? And again, there are many ways that you can do it, like I said. So this is just one other paper I wanted to show just because I really like it. It's a relatively new paper it's a relatively new paper. Let me see if I can find that date, 2017, right here. In the article is 2018. And so this is intermittent metabolic switching, what we just talked about, and how it affects neuroplasticity and brain health. And so basically it's saying these repeated cycles of metabolic challenge that induces ketosis, increasing those ketone bodies. This could be fasting, like the intermittent fasting, and or exercise can also produce this portion if you fast and exercise together, followed by a recovery period of eating, resting, recovery, and sleep can optimize brain function and resilience throughout the lifespan with a focus on these neuronal circuits that are involved in cognition and mood. And it can also help prevent or give resistance to brain due to injury and disease, okay? So again, really like this article. And here's just one graphic. There's a lot of pictures on here showing all the different metabolic mechanisms and genes that are turned on and off during this process. But again, I just want to show you this one. During fasting and exercise, we get this, rather than running on glucose, we switch to ketone body metabolism, that more catabolic portion. And so all of these things increase BDNF, which is important for neuroplasticity, things that decrease cytokines like inflammation, insulin. This all leads to cellular resistance, molecular recycling and repair. And then when we switch over to eating, we switch from that ketone body production to now we're running on glucose. During that, we're going to get more of the protein synthesis, we get biogenesis, we're going to make more mitochondria for energy, and then cell growth and plasticity pathways are occurring. Basically, we're making more cells in the brain. We're enhancing our synapses so that we can become more plastic, more efficient. And so all this intermittent metabolic switch right here, if we do it daily, is going to be, we're going to enhance synaptic plasticity, make more brain cells, we're going to enhance performance, whether that's cognition, mood, motor function, autonomic nervous system function, and we have resistance to neuronal degeneration and enhanced recovery from injury. So, like I said, I really like these papers. I think it really shows the benefits of intermittent fasting and how we can really work with switching these metabolic potentials from anabolic to building muscle and building more synapses in our brain, to catabolic, being more efficient with what we have and getting out waste, getting out detoxing our body. And so I really like that. Now, again, my thought is that I think you can do it with a 12-hour window to start. You don't have to go right to 18 hours. You don't have to go right to starting at a 24-hour fast. But I think starting with maybe 12 hours of not eating is a good start, and you can work to maybe not eating for 18 hours a day. Dr. Traster, who works here for the Neurologic Wellness Institute as well, he always says we should eat like it's our job. So we should just eat in a 9 to 5 type day. If we eat 9 to 5, then that is more of an 8-hour window, and so we're only fasting then for 16 hours. I think a 16-8 fasting to eating window is a great way to start for people as well with intermittent fasting, and get all the benefits from the elevation of ketone bodies that you're getting. At the same time, if you're eating closer to a high-fat kind of ketogenic diet, and you're enhancing that even more. So again, thank you for listening today. I think intermittent fasting is a great way for everybody to enhance their brain health. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. And if you have any suggestions for future talks, for future topics, please leave them below as well. Again, stay healthy, and thank you.